National Security Minister says the solution to crime is not a simple, straightforward one, but includes a multiplicity of issues, concerns, loopholes, and challenges, all of which government is working hard to address.
While he expressed optimism that they will win the war, he took the time in Parliament to outline some of the major barricades that, in his view, contribute to the systematic crime dilemma in our country. Here's Clint Watson.
It's really difficult to understand how those who adjudicate in the courts can live in the same community in which we live and do not understand the necessity.
National Security Minister the Honorable Dr. Natl mincing no words as he cautiously addressed the issue of crime in the Bahamas and the many complexities his ministry faces in reducing the high levels. Speaking in Parliament Wednesday evening, Dr. Natl was adamant that there are greater forces than just the act of crime on the streets that feed into the proliferation of this menace, and it hinges on the judiciary.
When someone came before them in the court carrying an illegal gun and ammunition, it was somebody's good son, and they couldn't bring themselves to pass the sentence that was on the books. The judge or magistrate. And then they made us come back here, you're right, and take it off the books, because they say the mandatory sentence was unconstitutional. And then, when these people go before the courts with illegal guns, either in possession or using them in a robbery or armed robbery or some shooting, they get a tap on the wrist. A couple of months, Mr. Speaker, and they're back out on the street.
Minister Natl also took issue with the continuous call for capital punishment.
I don't know why we come in here and talk about capital punishment over and over and over and know, Mr. Speaker, that there has been a ruling from the Supreme Appellate Jurisdiction of the Bahamas that there are only the rarest circumstances in which you can administer the death penalty. It has to be the worst of the worst. And it doesn't seem as if what is considered the worst of the worst in the Bahamas is considered the worst of the worst by the appellate court. And anybody who is sentenced to death has the right to appeal.
Quoting statistics, Dr. Natl noted that last year there were 30 persons killed who were involved in serious crimes themselves. That number this year stands at 15. He used this analogy to bring across another trend that seems to be developing in crime, and that is persons being released on bail only to end up being murdered.
Right now, there are young men who are up at Fox Hill, and you talk to them about going on bail. They don't want to go on no bail because they know that their life is at risk. Or they'll take someone else if that is true. But you know, there's another strange thing that's happening in our society, Mr. Speaker. There have been occasions recently where, on information found, we got intelligence that certain persons are at risk, are being targeted. And you warn these people and you tell them they're being targeted, and they think they're Superman. They don't want protection. They don't cooperate, Mr. Speaker. And we've lost people like that.
Referring to what he called the triad, meaning gangs, guns, and drugs, among youth, he says continues to be the root causes of crime. The National Security Minister also noted that in 2012, when the gun court was dismantled and cases shared among other magistrates, we saw an increase in gun-related crimes. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.